So that was about the time my mind opened up to, it's not just about what my dad has been wanting me to be, or even after when all of this came into full fusion, it was gone. The man who made me live the life basically was no more.
It wasn't. I don't even think the first thing that came to my mind was sex, because I'm meeting someone that I'm having to pray about to know if this is going to be my wife. And I think it would have been very difficult for me to expect that I'm praying to God, expecting that He would hear me, He would answer me if I'm overwhelmed with that thought. Not like I'm saying He never crossed my mind, but it wasn't something enough to dwell on, or to capitalize on, or to give too much of thought to.
So since you got married now, everyone expects that on the wedding night this thing happens. So what was that like? Do you feel comfortable sharing that? Did it meet all of your expectations? All of the meals and the of the meals and bones and harlequins? Did they come? Did they meet your expectations?
This young man had to leave Canada to come marry me in Nigeria. I think you traveled on the 25th.
I
you
left
left on the
24th
or 24th
to get home on the 25th.
25th, which was of December, Christmas Day. He was trying to package himself as my gift for that, because we had not, yes, he had told me about getting married, but we had not really done any proposals. Yet we had prayed like 3 years prior to that, before he left for, that was in when you left in 2015.
So yeah,
we had prayed together about, when is our wedding date, and we had 10th of December. I remember experience was when we went to, it was an all-night thing. We praised and we worship, and we came with an intention. God, before we leave here today, we want a wedding date, we want to know if we're supposed to be together and all of that. We got a date. 10th of December was what we
2016.
thought. 2016, 10th of December. That was what we thought we heard. And then he went, and then by the time he had to come back, he came back on the 25th. We had already planned the wedding for the 29th. Even though we had not done that big proposal that everyone does, because we already have plans. Family discussions and whatever, we did not have there was nothing I didn't do to get 10th of December, because I was telling everybody 10th of December is what I had. My husband, 10th of December, but hey,
it didn't happen on that.
It didn't happen on the 10th. It was 29th of December we got married. But bless God, it was still 2016. And when he came on the 25th, he asked me out on the same day, right? Asked me out or proposed properly with all the. I think he felt it took away that that's I want to be my girlfriend kind of nice thing, and he wanted to make the proposal beautiful, which was really lovely. We did that on the 25th. On the 26th we had to go shopping, so many shopping, I remember, wedding rings and so many things that we had to do though. 27th, the same thing. There was still you need to get a box. You have to get boxes, and we had to go together to go get the boxes, because he didn't know much about how to do anything anymore. I was one, oh, don't worry, let's go here. We'll get this set of box. We'll do after is my box. Let's go buy it together. Now you go pay. Now you go carry them. That kind of.
We literally bought the Riao together.
We bought it together. We fill the boxes together. So. On the 28th we had to go to how we do registry. We had to go to the registry for our court wedding. Yeah, so we just basically signed all of that document on the 28th, and by 29th we did the engagement and the blessing and everything. When we got home, or when we got to the hotel, all my guy wanted to do was sleep.
On the wedding night?
Yes!
He was exhausted.
There was a time he had to, in my culture, when you come, you say "Mo bebe fe," which means I am begging to marry her. You and your friends will come and literally prostrate flat on the floor to say, "We want this one. Please give her to us." Basically, his fear was that he would slip off while lying down. He was that tired. He was very tired. So when we got, even myself, there's been so much going on. Wedding in Nigeria is stress. If you're not in agreement with your parent, please be in agreement with your parents so that you'll not be stressed. That's all I can say. I was stressed. I had not slept, my eyes, everything. I remember that night, it was like, babe, let's go. Let's leave these people. It's like, this party is never going to end.
On the wedding night.
We left them. I went to our hotel room, and before we go, I know we tried to do one or two things, which was fun, but hey, it wasn't the main thing. Me, I've been waiting for...
Exactly, you've been waiting.
God, it's okay. Let's just say, I had a little bit of fun, but I expected more. But the young man was tired. And we just went to our bed. And we slept in our very soft bed. Woke up and realized, yeah,
you're married.
He's mine. I can do whatever I want to do for the rest of my life, right?
Absolutely.
And from there, it's been good. And for us, it's always, what did you like? What did you not like?
So you talk about sex openly, love making openly.
Can we not do this again? Can we try more of this? I think I love when you do this. I'm not so sure about this one. Maybe if we give it a try. Nothing was off the table as long as we're not harming ourselves. No, once there is nothing that can hurt us, well, good. We'll try it. Oh, we'll read books, we'll do whatever. I personally, I don't mind reading books, and
you still
I was
read
very
Harlequins?
Oh no. By then I'd advanced. I don't do Harlequin anymore.
Advanced.
I go on the internet and search positions, whatever. Because those were my, that's where things will come to you naturally. But I just wanted to be sure I'm not too naive, not to know what to do. Right? Because he's still my man, and I want him to always. I want to be able to keep up my game. At least then I used to be one. That was me though. The me now, goodness, that's a different ballgame. I'm not searching anything right now. I'm too comfortable. I have too much doing.
Too kids down.
Much that I'm doing. I don't think I'm as adventurous as I used to be. And I know that for him, that would be a lot for you, right? Below.
No, we are married.
We're married. So anyway, Babatunde, so any surprises since marriage?
Any surprises? I think we were just talking about this. So because we had dated for about 5 years, we got to know each other like really well. So I kind of knew what to expect in terms of personality, although you never really get to know everything, because I realized two things. First thing is, it's very easy to be angry at each other when you go to your separate homes, right? Because on the drive back, ride back, you think about everything that happened, and you learn to forgive, and it's so easy. And you would think to yourself, I think a part of you will fool yourself to think, oh yeah, this is not so bad. Yes, we fight, but we can always, forgive easily. But then you didn't put into consideration that the time will come when we have to go to bed together. Yeah, the same two of you that, you don't have the luxury of going back to your house now, which was kind of the first thing about marriage, is that, okay, I'm pissed about this person, but I have to sleep on the same bed. And I don't have that. So whatever I have to do to kind of appease, to let go of this way I'm feeling, has to happen between the time that we are going to bed. And there's nowhere to run. Now you have to face the music. So that's the first thing. That was a learning curve for me, because I've always had the luxury of, because my wife wasn't always very patient. Like, it's personality. I'm very laid back, which oftentimes for somebody who is fast paced, we get into that conflict often that is mostly based on personality. So that was a bit of a learning curve for me to understand, okay, now how do we resolve conflict when we don't have the luxury of going back to our houses, and when we have to face one another. So that's something that I had to learn, and we both had to learn this, to really say, okay, you know what, maybe how do we communicate? How do we make sure that, because I'm not happy when you're I'm not happy on the bed when you're pissed off. Sometimes your pride will just let you still go to bed anyways, like, well, this is not my fault, so maybe even I deserve to be I deserve the sorry, right? So that's one thing, and I think that's not something that we've fully I would say that we are fully apprehended yet. We are still working on that. Yeah, we're still working on that. We still, I always have to remind myself, you know what? If you don't say sorry, this is going to last as long as. I think the difference is this. She's learned to, because when we're dating, she has this habit of when she's angry, she won't pick your call, she won't return your messages. So she could do that for 2 days. And then when she's at the point, and this is because you are consistent, that you are consistently calling, consistently sending messages. And so in marriage, I think it was a bit of a shock for her too, because now there's nowhere to run. You can't say you are not picking my calls. You can't say you are not, you are looking at me every day. So I think she's learned to be, and she knows that I need her. So she's learned to give me what I need as a wife without necessarily still being able to show her dissatisfaction with me. But so I've learned that story is not going to come from her, even if I think she's wrong. So it's the way it is. So always kind of reminding myself, you know what, it's time you let this go. The longer this lingers on, the worse it's going to be for us in the long run. And little things will continue to pile up. That's the first thing. I think the other thing that was a bit of, that was a shock to me, this I would say was a shock, is having children. So when we started having children, I realized that, so like she said, all of this book that she's talking about, I was never interested in them. I didn't. Maybe I never even came across one, because I grew up. I wasn't sheltered, but I had my uncle, like my brother, who is it's about 4 years older than I am, and he's somebody who I basically patterned my life after, right? And this guy is a Christian, so from the time that I could know my right to. From my right to my left, I followed this guy. So following him meant that I did everything that he did. So this kind of book wasn't something that we're always in fellowship and stuff like that. So I wasn't exposed to this at all. And so when I got married to this person, I was enthusiastic that she was open to talk about sex, she wanted lovemaking. She wanted it to be satisfactory on both ends. She would give whatever, it was good, right? But it was a very sharp turn when we started having children, and I realized, wait, the desire was not there. It was almost like completely just vanished. So this is me thinking, okay, what is happening? Am I no longer attractive? And it's weird, because you would think a guy wouldn't think that, right? But yeah, you do think that. You start thinking, okay, maybe she losing interest in me.
Wow.
And so I started understanding that, okay, because the idea of lovemaking would irritate. She wouldn't just say, it would irritate her. So usually I wouldn't have to give hints, but I realized, okay, with us having a child, I would have to give hints, like, do things, and she would catch up on it, and sometimes even tell me off, like, dude, stop this, just stop.
Not happening.
So that was a shock. That was a shock, because I think I thought about personality change, but I didn't know about sex drive in marriage when you were for a woman after childbirth. So okay, I had to sit back and learn. Okay, so this is how she's feeling, and then I had to, like, I started reading books and understanding that it is an unfortunate situation that I find myself, because I didn't get to have this pregnancy, right? Nothing chemically has changed in my body. I'm still the same guy that fathered the child that we have, but my drive is still very much the way it was during the period of the pregnancy and even after the baby. So now I have to understand that this has changed for her, and I have to try to meet halfway to say, okay, look, I understand that this has changed. Can we put a structure to it? Like, let's find a middle ground. So that was a shock for me, because I guess I didn't know that could happen. So knowing that could happen, and knowing that, I think one of the things that I read is oftentimes it doesn't change until first when the person is done having children, and maybe they're in their 40s or late 40s and stuff like that. Maybe that's when they start having that drive again. And I think it was a bit sad for me to realize that, like, okay, this is something that I wish I knew, I wish I was prepared for. And now that it's here, I'm just happy that, we have, by God's grace, we have a strong marriage to be able to talk about this thing, to say, okay, this is what I'm noticing. Why is this happening? And then because again, I don't know if she knew that it was going to happen. So this is her also saying, I don't know why I'm feeling this way, but this is how I feel. And I can't tell you any better. I can't help you any better. I just feel this way. Okay, so now I'm like, okay, now if that's how you feel, this is how I feel, we have to just. So it became more of a responsibility. You know what? Okay, I'm going to be able to. I'm going to try. We're going to try. And she's been good.
And it's wonderful that you're both able to communicate about these struggles that you're having. Well, Gold, what was going on in your mind at the time? Were you scared that suddenly you're not wanting to make love after your child was born? What happened at that time? What was going on?
I don't think even I knew what was going on with me. I'm not just interested. Most of the time I just feel, apart from that, I think what these medical things too, they go a long way. I had a C-section when I had my daughter, and I remember they gave us 6 weeks, was it?
Yeah.
6 weeks before we can start having any. 8 weeks, was
Maybe
it?
8 weeks, I think it was 8 weeks.
You would remember.
Okay. You would remember.
So, and thankfully, when I had greatness, we're not together just yet, because I'd not gotten all my papers to be able to move into Canada, so it was always Canada, US. We met more in the US, and then I go to Nigeria. I think that was that period, right?
Yeah.
And I was lucky. I didn't get to own all of that feeling to it's my baby. I owned it too. We're not together, there is the distance. It's because, everybody's not under the same roof. Because if he comes around, he comes home, it's okay. I can give up anything then. I'm not going to see him for the next 3 months. I want to be on my best behavior, right? But then, when we now finally, myself and greatness, we came to join him in Canada, I think that's when we started realizing that
it wasn't the distance. Something was wrong.
Something is not right. I remember the first time he brought up this kind of conversation, right? And how I felt so bad for him. Because I didn't realize that he felt that. I thought we all understood that we're dealing with, new life. And my body was not, he saw this very flat to me. I was this very skinny child, pretty face.
Still pretty.
Thank you, babe.
Still pretty.
But, still pretty, I don't feel pretty. There's a pouch in there that I'm trying to, it's like, you just don't want to leave me, you this big tummy. I wear clothes and you're feeling like, I don't look, this is not the way I want to look like. I'm not just getting myself, like I'll put on a dress. I remember one particular green dress like that we took a picture just before you came to Nigeria. One dinner like that I went for, one green. There's this dress, very lovely A dress. It was so perfect on me. And then I wore it after greatness. And
it wasn't perfect anymore.
And I'm like, you Seth, can't you just see that? What are you still seeing in leave me alone? Like there's no, I don't feel good. I don't feel like I'm pretty. I try. I do my makeup. I will still do my makeup. I don't think I've never not done my makeup and make my hair okay or something. But it's still that if I remove makeup now and I remove all the thing that I'm using to band my tummy to look flat, the real thing will come out, and you are seeing the real thing. How are you still interested in the real thing? But as far as this guy is concerned, somehow I'm still the most beautiful man in the world. He couldn't care less. It's like, whatever I'm saying, whatever was hurting me or made me not fine enough or whatever, perfect enough,
he wasn't
saying it. Or sometimes, when we're coming today, my face was all over the place, and I was like, babe, what do you think? You're still, you're fine. Everything is okay. If you can just touch up, he was showing me what I need to touch up and all of that, I'll be fine. My man was like, I don't even know why I bother talking to you. Because as far as you're concerned, the girl is fine. Anyhow, I'm looking at I'm feeling, because I've been stressed.
But the girl is fine. You are both
okay,
so
when we came in
beautiful.
and he talked about my outfit, oh, this is actually not bad, babe. Because we had a discussion about it yesterday. I wanted something comfortable because it was going to be a very long day today. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to be in something comfortable. At the same time, I don't feel like that my fashionable self. Today is a special day in church. You're supposed to dress in a cultural way. Whatever your culture is, bring it to church and all. Yeah, I would have done better in my opinion. But here am I. Comfortable. Comfortable is not good. I want to be... I don't know.
And you are. You're gorgeous. You're beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. But that's just it. I think that was what I was feeling. Those were the things I felt. That was with greatness. It was,
And was it difficult to express all of those feelings to him?
For us, communications are never hard. Even when we are angry, we'll still talk. Our mind, we will still point out to one another. In anger, whether you will hear it or you not hear it, the other person will say it. You will say your own too. I could tell him all of these feelings, and he will always validate that, babe.
You're still beautiful.
You are beautiful to me. Like, I see that tummy you're talking about. I'm not blind. I can see that your tummy is not how it used to be. But what do you want? You're a mother now. You had a C-section. Did you see the size of your tummy when you were pregnant? Did you just expect that all of that to just go flat?
Away.
When my husband started telling me about, the changes that I've gone through, I start feeling silly for even being concerned about it, because it's like, what do you want? You want all of this to happen, and you will just be that chinkini babe. It cannot happen. Things will change. We just need to, while you're changing, don't let's lose ourselves.
That's key. When you're changing, don't let's lose ourselves.
And those children.
We're going to talk about that later.
My goodness.
So when you're changing, don't let's lose ourselves. What do you do to not lose yourselves in this day? And I want to ask you, Babatunde, about that. What do you do so you're not losing yourself? Because a lot goes on in marriage, with children, with your work. You're a public servant, you're an IT specialist or consultant. There's a lot going on in your lives. Ministry. So what do you do to not lose yourselves?
I think to always remember what had always worked, like what works. So I knew for a long time what works for my wife is spending time with her. My wife would be fine as long as she's doing everything with you. So if I'm busy from morning till night, it's fine if we are both busy from morning till night and we are busy together. Like, not she's busy at work, I'm busy at my work, and we're busy separately. That busyness, she will feel the loneliness in that. But if whatever we do it together, provided we are together in it, then every other thing becomes very, very simple. My wife loves to spend time with me, fortunately. She's be with me, be by me, let's talk, let's be together. So with work, and one of the things that I really wanted was to be able to work from home, right? Unfortunately, I got that. So being able to work from home, I work in a room, she works opposite the room, and the fact that we're in the same house, I could go into the room, she could come into the room, that works, right? The other thing with ministry is that because we do it together, right? We're at church or whatever we're doing it together. Like, my wife cannot deal with a situation where I'm not at work and I'm not in the house for 3 hours. I'm going to get a couple of, even though she understands what I'm doing, it doesn't matter. It's just, we have to be together. So because of, and God has been so good to us that we have, we love to do, churches, like we are really church people. So that helps us to really spend our time together. That's why, so what we've done is that all of our friendship, our lifestyle, everything, we kind of put it in the same circle of what we enjoy. So if church is where we really enjoy, our friends are in church, so we look forward to seeing them. So whatever we do, the only way I think we've been able to really not lose ourselves in all of these, even with children, is being by ourselves. Like, my wife loves to spend time with our family. So if I'm present, I'm there, I can be just there with her. She's satisfied. Fortunately for me, you don't really need anything to please me. Like, it's just, if you're happy, honestly, I'm good. I'm really good. So, and if she's happy about that, to spend time.
And if it gets a little alone time.
Yes, a little alone time. Like, just for me to just be able to sit back with no one, nothing, just myself, however short that is, even if it's 30 minutes, just to be able to not, like, be by myself. It's a way for me to just, to re-energize myself, yeah. So when when there's too much activities going on, it kind of drains me out. So when I'm able to just seclude myself, I get. So yeah.
Wow. I know that we can go on and on, but unfortunately we have to stop here. But before I let you go, what do you see differently in today's dating scene? And what can you, if someone is listening to both of you, a girl, Gold, if a young woman is listening to you and says, I'm a virgin and it's so hard to remain a virgin till I get married, what would you say to that person in just a few sentences, and then we can go on to Babatunde?
I will basically say, why did you choose to be who you are now? What brought you to that decision and consciousness of wanting to save yourself for your spouse? There's a reason why you got there. Remember the reason, and then keep yourself in the midst of people who can hold you accountable to that reason, right? People who will support who you are. You can't tell me that's what you want, but you're surrounded with, a baby seal can't be in the midst of shark. You will be devoured, like literally, they will eat you. You need to surround yourself with people of like minds.
A baby seal can't be in the midst of shark.
Let your people be those who can strengthen you, who can tell you, if you know already that you're on the right path, because you need to first own it, that it's a right path. This path is it right for you, and you've decided it's right. So keep the people around you, those who will remind you of why you're doing this, what you gain by doing this. I think one of the things we never talked about that I should just chip in here,
yes, please,
is the trust in our marriage. We had to talk about someone's relationship yesterday, and they're not going to go forward with that relationship because there's a little bit of trust issue. It's still relationship, so it's still fine, because in my dictionary a broken relationship is okay. Let's just not get to a broken marriage. But it boils down to what they were fighting, because we were talking about it and like, this would never be a problem in this house. I don't go through his phones to go and find messages of who's calling and who's texting. As a matter of fact, if I go there, it's because I want to become a PA, because he's lackadaisical with the way he answers messages, and I'm worse. But I will still go back at night and go through my list and get back to everyone who has reached out to me in any way. It can go 1 month, 3 months without responding to any message. So I pick up the phone. Honestly, it's not because I want to check on who is messaging. It's because Dad probably said something to us. Mom probably said something. Our sibling said something. And my dearest husband hasn't done anything about it. So I need to go check on that. Somebody somewhere needs something that my husband probably can just say, yes, go to this person, or, that's all I need to do on that phone most of the time. And that's what I go there to do. It's never occurred to me that I should go check for your babe. You don't have babe now. I don't know if you get it's, but all of this started from a place. He's always known me. I've always known him. So if there's anything we've gained nothing from keeping ourselves, we've gained our trust. Trust for one another. I think it will come to this young man it will not be a shock. I think he will faint if he hears that his wife has somebody somewhere that is even talking to her anyhow that he doesn't know about. It will not be a shock. I think it should be out of this world for him that because even if a guy talks to me in a certain way, I'm probably coming back to come and gist him. We love to even have things like that.
You are still desirable. Someone is still toasting you out there.
I love that. I will still gist about it, and in his mind, it's like, yeah, I'm doing my job,
Gold, you're going to come back on this show. You are going to come back. Babatunde, for the guys, and thank you for bringing in a male perspective. But just before we go, I want you to just touch briefly on what you see different about today's dating scene from your perspective. I mean, from when you dated and now, what do you think is different or better, or any advice for young men out there dating?
Yeah, I would say the same thing that I say to my siblings is, first, like you said, why are you doing it? Yeah, are you doing it because if you're a Christian, that means you're doing it because you're trying to, there is someone authority, someone's love that is greater than your desire, and that person's love is the love of Christ. And you really, really valued your relationship with that person, and that is the person of the Holy Spirit. So you're trying to keep that relationship that you have. So this is one of the reasons why you're trying to keep yourself, number one. And one of the easiest way, honestly, to help you through that journey is to surround yourself with people that it's very, very important to surround yourself with like-minded people. Two types of accountability that you should have. First thing, friends that you are afraid that you are scared if they ever see you in a compromising situation. You need to have friends like that, that you are scared for them to see you in that kind of situation. You need to have the kind of friends that that the conversation of what, are you people doing something, or you should be doing something, would never come from them. If anything, they will do everything to make sure that you're not doing that. And also, another thing that I always advise my sibling is, I try to be open with them, is also you need someone who is higher than you. Someone like a mentor that you can be open to that level. Because what that does is that sometimes when your friends are unable to, maybe there's a level of self-finish. You know your friends' weaknesses too. You know that they are not, that they shouldn't be they don't have that standard to be able to tell you what they're telling you, even though it's right. You need someone who is still very high on your the way you look at them, to be able to share things like that with them. Like, look, this is happening to me. Can you what can you help me? Can you advise me? And more importantly, you need to also understand you need a lot of boundaries. And I think this is where this generation is not there, because when you look at social media, movies, the boundary line is completely faded. So it's almost like it's fine, even though they don't tell you that they don't necessarily have to show you anything. But once they can show you that the boundary line is not necessary, you're gonna be fine. It's when you get into that situation without the boundary line that you realize that, okay, I'm not going to be fine. Oftentimes it's too late. So boundaries are usually enforced by people who have a level of influence over you too, right? Eventually it will come to you, but the love of Christ, the influence of friends, and mentorship can really, really help you, and drawing a very strong boundary line can really help you to still stay back.
Wow. Wow. I have nothing more to add to it, but thank you both for sharing your stories and for being so candid and being so honest and vulnerable. We're talking about your own marriage, your dating. I'm so grateful for that, and I know that our viewers would be grateful that you have shared so honestly. Until next time, you all take very good care of yourself, and I'll catch you later. God bless you.